On day 1, I spawned in as a bald eagle with 10 hearts. I may be a little bald eagle, but I think I can make a big difference. I'd spawned into the middle of the Maple Taiga, but something was wrong. I felt a chill in the air and felt like someone was watching me. I used my eagle wings to fly around the trees, searching for something or someone to talk to, but there was nothing. The whole place was dark and empty until I saw something moving in the shadows. I couldn't quite make out what it was. I just saw its floating face.
You're in the wrong place, boy.
I'm sorry. I'm lost. Can you show me how to get out of here?
There is no out of here, Zozo.
Wait, how do you know my name?
I know more than you'd ever like me to know, little bird. You can fly away, but I'll find you. I'll always find you.
Something was really wrong about all this. I didn't want to say another word to that weird thing. I just turned away and flew as fast as I could off into the Maple Taiga. Whatever happens, I need to stay away from that guy. I think he's bad news. But I had no idea just how dangerous that mysterious thing really was. On day 2, after hours of flying through the trees, I decided to touch down for a rest. I was already hungry when I spawned, but after all that, it was even worse. I searched around the cold, dark forest until I was lucky enough to find some hazelnuts, a perfect healthy snack for an eagle like me. I still feel a little spooked after that encounter with that weird thing in the woods. I'm just glad I got away from it. But just as I said that, I felt a strange prickling sensation on my feathers. I didn't like it, not one bit. So I turned around and looked deep into the taiga behind me, and there it was. I could only just make it out, but it was definitely there, moving towards me. It was the exact same thing I'd seen earlier.
You cannot run. You cannot fly. For soon I'll hold you in my eye. This nightmare will get worse and worse. For my little bird, you are cursed.
Cursed? That doesn't sound good. I'm out of here. But I wasn't out of there. I couldn't move. I was just frozen in place. I couldn't shift a muscle as the sinister figure in the dark floated towards me. Closer and closer and closer and closer until he was almost right in front of me. Help! Help! Somebody help! Moments before the mysterious figure could reach me, he was hit with a fireball. The thing was blown away and screamed into the darkness. And suddenly, I could move again. I turned and ran as fast as I could on my little eagle legs, and I saw who had thrown the fireball at my scary pursuer. It was an old royal guard.
Come with me, little bird. That fire won't keep him down for long.
On day 3, I followed the royal guard. He ran and never stopped running, so all I could do was run after him. Thank you for saving my life. I'm Zozo, by the way. What was that thing?
I am Surge, the royal guard. There's no time to explain. That monster is more dangerous than you'll ever know.
That was a good enough explanation for me at the time. We kept moving, never looking behind us, until we reached the outside of a vast redstone circle cut into the ground. What's with the circle, Surge?
It's a sealing circle, a binding spell that offers protection. This is the only place you'll be safe, and even then, only for a little while.
I was able to slow down and catch my breath when I saw the cabin in the center of the big redstone circle. It looked old and run down, like nobody lived in there.
You must meet the Elder, Zozo. He resides in there. Listen closely to his wisdom. Perhaps it will save you.
But I need answers right now, Surge.
The Elder will have the answers you need. Just be warned that they may not be the answers you seek.
With that mysterious conversation out of the way, I entered the cabin. While it looked dark outside, on the inside it was surprisingly lit and warm. The Elder was standing next to a fireplace.
Welcome, Zozo.
Why do you keep it so bright in here?
When it's this bright, it's easier to see shadows, and that which you saw in the woods is a mighty dark shadow.
What was that thing?
A wraith, a powerful spirit. And I'm sorry to tell you this, little bird, but he cursed you.
What kind of curse?
The 100-day curse. Perhaps the most horrible of all. He and his nightmares will torment you for 100 days before finally doing you in.
Oh no, that sounds awful. Is there anything I can do about this?
There is one advantage to the 100-day curse. If you can break it within those 100 days, you have a chance of saving yourself. But only the strongest can do this.
Outside, the royal guard was walking. Well, guarding the perimeter of the redstone circle. Slowly, the being known as the Wraith approached the edge.
Gone, foul demon. You cannot get him here.
Not yet. but I will. And if you think there's anything you can do to stop my nightmares, then you're the one who's dreaming.
From day 4 to day 5, when it finally felt like the days-long nighttime was letting up, I decided to leave the Elder's camp and look for my own place.
Zozo, let me come with you. I cannot allow an innocent bird to get taken by the Wraith's curse. Please, allow me to defend you with my life.
That's very kind of you, Surge, but why? We barely know each other.
It's because of something bad that happened in my past. I don't like to talk about it. Please, Zozo, let me have this.
Okay then, Surge, let's go. We went deeper into the Maple Taiga until we found a clearing with only a few trees. With Surge's help, I was able to cut down the trees and collect the wood and sticks. I had just enough to make a wooden pickaxe, which I then used to mine some stone and make a stone pickaxe. I was about to make a stone sword when Surge stopped me.
Believe me, Zozo, a stone sword will do no good against what's after you. You'll want to keep your distance, because if the Wraith touches you, it's over.
Then how can I fight back?
Make yourself a bow and arrow instead.
And so I did. I used the sticks and some string I found lying around to make this simple long-range weapon.
Good work, Zozo. Now, I have a gift for you. Take this anvil and this enchanted book of flame. With them, you can give your arrows the fiery punch to ward off evil.
With the anvil and the enchanting book, I was soon able to give myself the exact kind of flaming bow and arrow that Surge had described. Between that and my stone pickaxe, things were looking up already. Until suddenly, both of us felt a chill in the air. We could sense that a certain something was very, very close. Should I shoot the Wraith with my arrow, Surge?
No, Zozo, you're not strong enough yet. You'll be destroyed. For now, we must both hide.
We split up and hid behind different trees. Moments later, the Wraith passed through. I did everything I could to remain quiet, even though I was terrified, until the evil spirit passed on. Phew, that was a close one. That Wraith sure is scary. With that close call out of the way, I used the rest of the wood and stone in my inventory to start building a basic base, one where Surge and I could both stay and keep ourselves safe from the horrors of the Wraith.
Good work, Zozo. I'll perform some spells on the base. Hopefully, that will keep us hidden from the Wraith for a time, but so that you have a little more hope of surviving, allow me to give you some of my power.
The power Surge gave me made me bigger and stronger, with 20 hearts and a piercing deadly shriek.
Can't be an eagle without a shriek, little bird. For now, I must rest. Giving a portion of my power has drained me. Stay safe, Zozo. Above all, stay safe.
From day 6 to day 8, I used my eagle wings to take to the sky and escape the Maple Taiga. I need to find someone who knows something about removing curses, or I'm gonna be helpless against the Wraith. I flew for a while until I saw a different biome, the Canadian Shield, down below me. I swooped down until I heard some commotion. It was a nomad, wielding a dagger and running from a group of scary skeletons. This looks like a job for me. I swooped in and landed in front of the skeleton gang. Lucky for me, they didn't move very fast, so before they could fire on me, I burned their bony butts with a barrage of fire arrows. You mess with the eagle, you get the arrows. After they were taken care of, the nomad approached me.
Thank you, mighty eagle. I came to this forest to hunt Endermen when those skeletons ambushed me. Were it not for your help, I would have perished.
I'm always happy to help. Why are you hunting Endermen out of curiosity? Isn't that dangerous?
It is, stranger, it is. But Endermen took my family away from me, so I will hunt them down until my last breath. For vengeance.
Pretty cool motivation. Say, you wouldn't happen to know anything about curses, would you?
As luck would have it, I do. My mother was a wise woman. Before those monsters took her, she told me much about curses and dark spirits. I will tell you what I know, but only if you help me with something first.
Oh yeah? What do you need help with?
I'll need assistance in slaying the deadly mutant Enderman.
From day 9 to day 10, as an eagle of my word who needed all the info about curses I could get, I followed the nomad, ready to take on the mutant Enderman.
He's in the clearing up ahead. I wish you luck, Zozo. Many have perished trying to do what you're doing.
Sheesh, thanks for the pep talk, nomad. Really fills me with confidence. Despite being afraid, I was still nowhere near as terrified of any mutant Enderman as I was of the Wraith. Then, when I stormed into the clearing, ready to attack, I realized why the nomad was so reluctant to take on this fight himself. The mutant Enderman was massive!
Another challenger. Marvelous. I've got some new techniques I've been meaning to practice.
Here's a new technique for you. Being on fire. Eat this! I pulled out my bow and fired as many arrows as I could. But the The mutant Enderman hit hard. I tried my best fighting him, but I was suddenly blinded. As he started picking up the blocks around me and throwing them at me, I flew up to get some height advantage, which seemed to work until he started using some magic to pull me down. I didn't stand a chance in hand-to-hand combat when suddenly an explosion blew me high into the sky and almost destroyed me. Uh-oh, time to go. I didn't even have time to try my shriek. I just flew out of there as the blocks were flying behind me. I made it back to the Nomad as fast as I could. Lucky for me, the mutant Enderman didn't follow me anymore.
It's nothing to be ashamed of, Zozo. I've been fighting beasts like that for years, and they still often best me in combat, as much as I'm ashamed to say it.
I know I'm going to be strong enough to fight it someday. In the meantime, want to come back to my base? I'm in a bit of a dangerous situation right now, and I think there's safety in numbers.
I'll come with you, Zozo, and I'll do what I can to help, especially if it involves fighting Enderman.
From day 11 to day 12, myself and the Nomad arrived back at the base. Surge was resting in the chair, recovering from giving me his energy for that earlier power-up. Rest well, Surge. I'm gonna make sure you've got something great to wake up to. The first thing me and Nomad did was to use my remaining wood and stone to construct a bigger base. Here we will have more space with a nice observation tower in case the Wraith comes sneaking up. We even made a nice patio for me to land on. I finished up making a room for the Nomad to stay in. I even left a chest in there for him to store all his daggers. Make yourself at home, Nomad. Nomad took a look around.
You have done me a great kindness, Zozo. In time, I will do you a kindness in return.
I then realized that the base and my inventory were missing a few things. I'm doing all of this with a stone pickaxe. If I upgraded my gear to iron, I could mine twice as fast. I flew through the Maple Taiga until I found a cave that led down into an old abandoned mine shaft. The place was totally empty, so I figured a Wraith or some other nightmare had gotten to the miners first. I tried not to think about it as I got deeper and deeper, putting torches along the wall to see. Eventually, I found some iron deposits and started mining. When I gathered enough ore, I thought about leaving, but then I got the sense that if I searched a little bit further, I'd find something amazing. And I was right. A little further across the bridge and into the darkness, I found a dusty old chest, and inside it was a claymore. It was a massive sword that seems impossibly heavy, yet rests easily in a just warrior's hand. I think I'm just, and with a sword this big, maybe I can attack the Wraith without even touching it. I returned back to my base after that, knowing I'd need to make a furnace to smelt all the iron, only to see someone had already built a furnace and a beautiful, well-stocked pantry. Oh my gosh, who did this?
It was me, Zozo. It was me all along. I told you I would repay your kindness.
Thank you, Nomad. This is amazing. I smelted myself some iron ingots and fused it with a stick to craft an iron pickaxe. With that out of the way, there's only one errand left to complete. It was chilly out in the deep dark taiga, and we needed wool to survive the winter. That's why I went out and found some sheep, then herded them back to the base. A little bit of construction later, and I had them all fenced in. Maybe I'm not so cursed after all. From day 13 to day 15, I felt a growing sense of anxiety over everything involving the Wraith. I couldn't get the Nomad's advice until I defeated the mutant Enderman, so all that was left to do was speak to Surge, the Royal Guard, and find out what he wasn't telling me. Surge, you seem to know more than you're letting on about this whole curse deal. How can I find out more about how to get out of this?
Of course I have some knowledge, Zozo, but knowledge learned without struggle slips through the mind like sand through the fingers. Perhaps to truly learn what it means to be cursed, seek out and defeat the Forsaken.
The Forsaken?
Yes, half-dead wanderers, twisted and cruel, victims of lesser curses who show loyalty to the Wraith. They know more than perhaps anyone else. Challenge will be just getting them to talk.
There's a challenge I'm gonna have to rise to, Surge. I left for the Canadian Shield again, taking flight and trying to scope out any supernatural activity. I didn't want any fights I had out here to lead back to my base, so it was best to keep these investigations far away. I flew down when I saw a group of skeletal figures shrouded in rags. These must have been the Forsaken. I've been cursed like you, and I need information. Perhaps together we can find a way to help all of us.
It is too late for us, child, and we will ensure that it's too late for everyone else, for we are the children of the Shilkerand Forest, the emissaries of the cryptic wastes, acolytes of the darkness of the Wraith. Curses are not made to be broken, boy. They're made to break you.
There was no more reasoning with this gang of Forsaken souls. They started to charge toward me, so I had no choice but to destroy them. With my deadly shriek, I turned the tide, scattering their forces and even destroying some of them. Then came the time to use my real weapon, the Claymore, the mighty sword only true warriors could wield. I ran in and sliced and diced until the Forsaken were no more, and defeating them gave me enough enough power to level up again. I got bigger, stronger, reached a grand total of 40 hearts, and developed a new power, firing Wither Skulls. That's a spooky power. It must be because my curse is advancing. I've been cursed for over 2 weeks now. I really do need to get this curse lifted. Did one of them say something about the Shulkerin Forest? Maybe I should go there first. From day 16 to day 19, I did just that, traveling to the eerie darkness of the Shulkerin Forest. Yeah, it definitely tracks that the Forsaken like to hang out here. I'm getting the willies already. But I didn't have time to worry for long, because the Forsaken were standing right there.
We can smell your shadow, boy. The curse is growing, like a leech getting fat off blood. Look at us, Zozo. You think you'll be any different to all of us?
Just because you all failed to save yourself doesn't mean I will. I'd had just enough of people telling me how doomed I was, so I decided to deal with some doom instead. As armies of Forsaken emerged from the trees of the Shulkerin Forest, I unleashed a volley of Wither Skulls and deadly shrieks. Once I'd given them a taste of that, I once again pulled out my claymore and ran into the last fray, threatening him. Tell me everything you know about lifting the curse.
You don't understand. I can't. If I tell you, I'll be destroyed.
If you don't tell me, I'll destroy you myself.
The Wraith, he's impossibly powerful, but he isn't invincible. He can kill you with a touch, but not if you're wearing the right armor. And there's a certain sword that can harm him, while all the others will merely slow him down.
What armor? What sword? I need to know!
It's...
Without warning, the Forsaken burst into flames, and moments later, he poofed out of existence. Wow, not telling me about the armor and the sword must have been a condition of the curse that was placed on him. This Wraith really is ruthless, but at least I know what to look for now, even if the information I have is vague. From day 20 to day 22, I returned to the Canadian Shield to settle an old score. I need the information that the Nomad has, but I'm never going to get it if I don't defeat that mutant Enderman first. Didn't take me long to find the monster again, and when I did, he just laughed at me, which did not do wonders for my self-esteem, let me tell ya.
Last time you were here, you didn't get a single decent hit on me, and I nearly destroyed you with one hit. You're hopeless.
That was last time. This is now. I remembered his tactics, and this time, I was going to use them against him. I fired a Wither Skull, which, predictably, he teleported away from. But when he appeared behind me, my claymore was ready. I spun around and slayed him before he even had a chance to properly hurt me. Enderman, I just ended you, man! But I sadly didn't get to bask in my victory for long. I felt that familiar chill on my feathers and turned to see what I'd feared most, the Wraith floating out of the dark.
Tick-tock, tick-tock. Your life slips away by the second as the curse grows. Why not embrace me and end the fear, Zozo? It will be cold and quick.
I'm quickly getting out of here. I ran as fast as I could until I felt the chill of the Wraith subside. If he can make his way to the Canadian Shield, he could turn up anywhere. From day 23 to day 26, I returned to the base to tell the Nomad the good news.
Thank you, Zozo. You have honored my family by defeating the mutant Enderman. To thank you for your kindness, I've built you a kitchen.
It was true. He had built me a luxurious and well-appointed kitchen. It would be perfect for cooking all manners of meals. Thank you, Nomad. You've built a kitchen and a pantry now. Is there a reason you like food prep stations so much?
Well, before the Enderman destroyed my family, I actually wanted to become a chef, but my revenge quest derailed all that. I'm hoping to someday return to my dream once I feel like I have achieved vengeance from lost loved ones.
Interesting. I hope one day you get to pursue those dreams. So, could you tell me what you know about the curses?
I hope I didn't overstate how much I knew. It's mainly a bunch of stories my mother told me. A lot of it was about knives and scrunts. But one thing I think you might find interesting is that my mother once told me that the eagle and the hawk are the ones to stand against evil. Perhaps you'll find some answers there.
At least it's something. I'm an eagle, so perhaps I just need to find the hawk, whatever he is. But if I couldn't find the hawk, I'd at least find myself some armor. That's why I searched through the forest until I found the mining cavern from before and delved down into the darkness. If there are any Forsaken down here, they're going to get clay more than they bargained for. Luckily for me and them, the mine was empty, so I gathered up some iron deposits and went back to the base. There, I smelted my first few pieces of armor. Hopefully, this would provide at least some protection from the Wraith and the horrors his curse was bringing. From day 27 to day 31, knowing that I needed to get to the bottom of this eagle and hawk prophecy, I returned to the Shulkran Forest. There were a large number of Forsaken here before I came in and defeated them. Maybe I can find something important here. But it seemed that after my victory against the Forsaken, they hadn't returned to the area. Instead, there was a single wandering trader.
Hello, stranger. Got some fine wares today. But I should warn you, this is a dangerous place to be. Yeah, those accursed Forsaken used to roam these parts.
But they won't anymore, cause I defeated them. You're safe to trade as much as you like.
You were the brave warrior who defeated the Forsaken of Shulkran Forest? Thank you! They've been terrorizing these parts for years. Here, take these 3 healing potions as a thanks. You've more than earned them.
Thank you, kind trader. I'll use them well.
Oh, but I don't even mean for use in battle. Health potions will help slow down the progression of the curse. So, if ever you feel overwhelmed, have one ready.
With that surprisingly pleasant exchange out of the way, I returned to my base. I'd been reading up on sigils that can help ward off cursed creatures, and decided making some banners with them could provide an extra layer of defense. I harvested wool from the sheep in my sheep farm, and used them to craft some supernatural repellent banners, which I carefully placed around the base. That'll keep the wraith away while I search for the hawk mentioned in the prophecy. But things weren't all sunshine and roses. In no time at all, Surge, the royal guard, ran up to me in what seemed like a blind panic.
Zozo, I received a horrible vision. I can feel cursed energies amassing. The Forsaken are leading an attack on the Elder's cabin.
Oh no, we need to go help him at once. From day 32 to day 35, Surge and I arrived at the Maple Taiga and raced towards the cabin that housed the Elder. Our feet pounded against the grass with fearful urgency as we hoped and prayed that Forsaken had not already beaten us there.
Zozo, look there! There's a group of Forsaken! They're in the range of your bow!
Enchanted bow on lock. Those darn cursed souls aren't getting past us! I unleashed heck in the form of my enchanted fire arrows, causing a couple of the Forsaken to burst into flames. Surge threw a fireball and managed to pick off a couple more of the foul miscreants. We cleared most of them, but out of nowhere more came charging towards myself and Surge.
You will be like we are. There's no sense in fighting it anymore. Just give up like the rest of us.
I drew my claymore as they approached. Since you're so good at giving up, maybe you should give up trying to make us give up. Between the two of us, Surge and I defeated the rest of the Forsaken. We were relieved because we thought we had stopped them, but when we arrived at the cabin, our hopes were dashed. The redstone circle was still there, but the cabin beyond was torn to flinders. The Elder was gone too, unable to survive the onslaught of the Forsaken.
No, this is horrible. How could I have let this happen? I should have been here this whole time.
It's not your fault, Surge. The redstone circle wasn't able to keep them out, which means the defenses against the curse are slowly failing. Nobody could have known it would happen.
The curse is getting stronger, and now we've lost the Elder. Don't you dare become a Forsaken, Zozo. We have to keep on going for him.
I didn't want to tell him how scared I was about becoming like those other victims of the curse. From day 36 to day 39, I decided to spend some time away from my base and my friends, knowing that the curse was getting stronger and that I might even risk not being myself anymore. I didn't want to have to face anyone I knew. Instead, I was swooping around the Canadian Shield, breathing in that fresh air and trying to get my head together. During all this, I spotted a butcher looking lost and wandering around. I swooped in, hoping to help after I was unable to help the Elder. Are you okay, Mr. Butcher? Are you being hassled by any cursed creatures?
Cursed creatures? I don't know nothing about no cursed creatures. I'm just a simple butcher looking for his lost mushroom. I've got an order for my famous mushroom beef cutlets later today, but without the mushroom, I'm done.
Well, I'd be happy to help you find your lost mushroom. It'll take my mind off all that other stuff.
Oh, really? That's so nice of you.
Using my bird's eye view, I swooped through the trees, looking for that pop of red and white. It didn't take me long to find the missing mushroom, and then I called over to the butcher.
You done me a real solid here, pal. If ever you want a big, juicy mushroom beef steak, you come to my place, and I'll give you one for free.
I'll remember to take you up on that once I've solved this whole curse situation. And with that, I flew off, reminded that fun little moments like this are exactly why I can't let the curse get to me. From day 40 to day 43, I came back into the base and found that Surge had added a pool on the roof of the base. Did you feel like swimming, Surge?
No? Well, you could use it for that if you want, but the real purpose of this pool is to be a focusing medium for our defensive enchantments. The water is located in the exact center of the circle, so it will buy us some time against the Forsaken. Also, I've invited one of my old friends in the Royal Guard to the base. If those things do get through, we'll fight the good fight.
That's good planning ahead. I still might take a swim in the pool, but only because I respect that it's here. Shortly after, a second Royal Guard came to visit in a uniform just like Surge. I left them alone to catch up on old times, but on a deeper level, I was nervous about meeting other people who might not understand my curse. I decided to take a walk outside of the base to clear my head. Surge was doing so much for me, but I knew there was something still bothering him, a secret that he hadn't yet revealed. While I pondered my friendship with the Royal Guard, I happened upon the Wandering Trader.
Here, Zozo. I see the curse hasn't gotten you yet. Splendid!
Hey, Wandering Trader. Good to see a friendly face out beyond the protective enchantments.
Oh, please. We're past titles. You can call me Hewitt. How many potions do you have left?
Oh, 3, actually. I haven't felt like I needed them.
You should have one, just to be safe. Remember, the curse will make you believe that you are more capable of fighting it off.
I did as he said, consuming one of my health potions. I was now down to 2. I don't know if these 2 will be able to ward off the curse for the rest of the 100 days. Do you have anything stronger I could purchase?
You're in luck, Zozo. There is a potion that'll help you identify and ward off the nightmare servants of the Wraith. In the common tongue, it's called the Potion of Night Vision. I can't make it for you, though. Not unless you find the elusive golden carrot, a key ingredient.
At this point, I'll take any help I can get if it means not becoming forsaken. Where can I find this golden carrot?
They used to grow in abundance in the Shulkran Forest, before the Forsaken uprooted most of the beds and burned the carrots with them. Because it is too late for them, they resent the idea of others taking a precaution they didn't.
From day 44 to day 49, I once again traveled into the Shulkran Forest, hoping to find the golden carrot. Man, this place is dark. I can see why a night vision potion would come in handy. But it wasn't just dark, it was cold. Deathly cold. A cold that could only come from one source.
Can you feel my presence, Zozo?
It was the Wraith's voice, and as much as I looked around and readied my flaming bow and arrow, I couldn't see him. It was like his voice was floating all around me.
I am everywhere and nowhere, Zozo. And as my curse strengthens, stronger nightmares will seek you out. You cannot escape your fate.
We make our own fates, Wraith. Anyone who says otherwise is sleepwalking.
Then wake up, Zozo, and face the cruelty of reality. The phantoms of the night will devour you alive.
The coldness disappeared, and it was replaced by the red-hot rage of the Crimson Phantom. It swooped down and tried to attack, narrowly missing me.
Hungry.
I'm not on the menu! He wasn't the only one who could fly. Using my eagle wings, I took to the sky, and the battle began! From day 50 to day 53, I engaged in a pitched aerial battle with the Crimson Phantom, the most horrible cursed nightmare that I had yet encountered.
Devour, eat, crunch, consume.
I won't let you do any of those things, Crimson Phantom. Prepare to face my claymore! With a tremendous slash, I carved away at a bit of the Crimson Phantom's health. The nightmare was fast, so it was only a glancing blow, but I used the chance to maneuver away and gain a better vantage point.
Hungry. Stop resisting.
Never! I delivered another blow with the claymore, but was blindsided by the biting tackle from the Crimson Phantom. The damage was severe, but it was all I could do to dodge away and drink my second health potion. I have to end this quickly, or I'll have to use my last potion. Here goes a Wither Skull! I summoned up all the twisted energy of the curse and converted it into a Wither Skull. When it shot forth, the Crimson Phantom was caught completely unaware. The direct hit stunned the monster, and with my claymore, I brought the Phantom down to the ground, cleaving it into dust. Phew, using that Wither Skull took a lot out of me. Thank goodness it ended the fight. What it also did was cause the Crimson Phantom to drop the golden carrot I was looking for. I'll take this back to Heward before I get attacked by another nightmare. From day 54 to day 57, with the golden carrot in my inventory, I decided to make my way back to the base. It feels like nightmare creatures have been jumping out at me from every shadow. I can't get my hands on that night vision potion soon enough. But as I was flying through the air, I got hit by a fireball that sent me spinning out. I landed on the ground, only to see a horde of ender gas coming towards me. Why did that fire hurt so much? Oh no, it must be because the curse is advancing. I'm already over halfway through the 100-day cycle. I must be more vulnerable to whatever hurts curses. But I didn't have time to worry about that yet. The ender gas were getting closer, and I needed to fight back. I took to the skies again, unleashing my deadly shrieks until every last one of them was taken care of for good. I need to get back to base and rest. I've exposed myself to too much cursed energy for too long. When I arrived back at my base, Heward the Wandering Trader met me there. He took the golden carrot and used it to brew up a night vision potion.
Be aware, Zozo. The effects of this potion will only last 3 minutes, so use it wisely. The Wraith won't give you a second chance.
Good advice, Heward. And if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna get some sleep, because getting you that golden carrot was a real odyssey. Heward left to wander and trade, as wandering traders are wont to do, and I retired to my bed for the evening. From day 58 to day 62, I took some time to plant a flower garden in my base. It was in part to honor the elder, but I think part of me also felt bad for who the Forsaken once were. These flowers will be here to remind us all about the beauty there is in this world, and that we should never give up, even when things seem really bad. I left the garden to its peace, and went back to the depths of the mine shaft. There I found a bit more unexpected beauty in the rough. Diamonds! With these sparkling gems, I was able to forge a diamond pickaxe that would provide me with a wealth of resources as long as I was willing to mine for them. I've come this far, and I know I won't let this curse beat me. This diamond pickaxe is a sign of my progress and my will. When I came up from the mine, I saw Surge standing in the flower garden I made. I wonder if he knew its purpose. I approached him, and he spoke first.
Flowers always find the strength to grow, even if the land itself is troubled.
That's why I planted them. We should all remember that we can be the same way. As long as I'm not forsaken, I vow to remember those who are less fortunate through these flowers.
Can you plant a few more for my king and my comrades?
Surge, I think it's time you told me about your past. I will always support you. I want to know why you've supported me.
Very well. When I was younger and more naive, I was a fresh recruit to the royal guard of a certain king who used to control a lot of the overworld. That's why I've always referred to myself as a royal guard. For a time, we all served our king with complete loyalty under the command of Sergeant Brannock.
For a time, but not forever.
It all changed so suddenly, like a nightmare I thought I could wake up from. Brannock was afflicted with the 100-day curse, and instead of accepting his solitary fate, or fighting it like you, he did something else. He made a deal with the Wraith, that he would not be forsaken, but instead become a curse himself. All he had to do was kill the king, solidifying the sacrifice of his old life. I would love to tell you that we were able to stop him, but I wouldn't be the only one standing here if things had gone differently. Those of us royal guards who survived, scattered to the winds, afraid that if we stayed together, Brannock's curse would pass on to all of us. I've lived my life in shame and fear ever since.
Thank you for letting me know all of that. It must have been so sad. You don't need to be ashamed, Surge. I'm still okay because you saved me. You're a better guard than you think, and it's because you fear what might happen to the people you protect. From day 63 to day 66, I woke up to a delicious smell wafting into my bedroom. I woke up and swooped over to the kitchen where Nomad was cooking.
Hey, Zozo, you know, your struggles and your persistence have inspired me. I've been working on getting good at cooking again, because a life spent entirely on seeking revenge is a life wasted. Here, have some calamari.
He gave me some delicious calamari, which refilled my hunger bar and made me feel a lot better. You've got a real talent for this, Nomad. I'm glad you're rediscovering your passions.
Calamari was one of my mama's favorite foods. Cooking these made me think of her. In fact, it made me remember something she told me once. Something that may help you discover more about your curse.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, she always told me that the most cursed land of all was the Cryptic Wastes. Perhaps that is where you'll find the answers you seek regarding the eagle and the hawk.
Sounds like a plan to me, Nomad. I'll head there immediately.
Just be careful, Zozo. Horrors lurk there. Be sure your defenses are strong.
Having eaten some more calamari, I took flight in the direction of the Cryptic Wastes, a dark and desolate place with a cursed sky. I could immediately tell that something was wrong here. As I landed on the ground and started moving along, I heard quiet footsteps behind me. I turned and, in a flash, an assassin was standing behind me, armed with a kyther.
Make one move, and it's your head, demon.
Wait, I'm not a demon.
Your kind lies. I can feel the cursed energy radiating off of you.
That's because I got cursed by a wraith. Why are you even here?
I am Frey of the Cleansing Light Assassins Guild. We are an ancient order of covert warriors who took a vow to live in the territory of evil and smite them from within. I was born and raised in the horrors of the Cryptic Wastes, and I have learned to master them. Do not fool yourself into thinking you can trick me, Forsaken One.
I may be cursed, but I'm not forsaken. I respect what you do, Frey, but I'm after something deeper. The cure! A way to stop evil at its source.
Do you speak of the prophecy of the eagle and the hawk?
What do I look like to you, Frey? I've been taking healing potions to suppress the curse, but I only have a month before it overtakes me completely. I need all the help I can get in fulfilling the prophecy and stopping the wraith.
A worthy mission, but words are only worth the seconds it takes to say them. If you want my help, you'll prove yourself. If you want to show me you do not stand with the wraith, slaughter one of his most dangerous minions, the Bone Storm.
Consider that Bone Storm defeated.
Then let us depart. But if I suspect I'm being deceived, I'll eliminate you before you could even imagine a Wither Skull. You have my word as an assassin on that.
We set off deeper into the cryptic waste, knowing that darker nightmares lay ahead. From day 67 to day 70, Frey led me to the lair of a new nightmare, the vicious animate colossus of Marrow, known as the Bone Storm.
I'll spare you the indignity of answering whether or not you can defeat that thing. If you fail, I will clean up whatever remains of you both. Now, get in there and show me if you have an assassin's will.
You will find that my willpower is my greatest strength. I've been honing it ever since the day I was cursed. Watch and see who I really am. I flew towards the Bone Storm and let out an eagle shriek. The Bone Storm was on my tail soon enough, but I wasn't about to let it catch me. I ascended upward and drew my bow. Enchanted arrows rained down on the Bone Storm, setting it alight. The fire was fearsome, but it wasn't enough. I realized all too late that the Bone Storm could fly as high as me. I was engulfed by its many storming bones and took severe damage. I put away the bow and started hacking through the bones with my claymore, breaking out into mid-range. I could feel that Frey was still watching me, and because of that, I held off on using my Wither Skulls, but I couldn't win without them, so I gave in. Wither Skulls, come forth! End this nightmare! I sent Wither Skull after Wither Skull into the Bone Storm, and this weakened it until I was able to slash it apart with my blade. The Bone Storm was beaten, but I had another problem. I could feel that the use of my Wither Skulls had given the curse more influence. If I didn't drink my last potion, Frey would probably take me out on principle. What other choice do I have? I gulped down the third potion, my last line of defense against the 100-day curse. Frey came to see me after the fight.
I must commend you for what you did here. For now, you are a master of your curse and can use it for the greater good. I will still be keeping an eye on you, but you have earned my aid as well.
With Frey the Assassin as my new ally, I felt hopeful, despite the fact that I was now out of potions. From day 71 to day 74, I went deeper into the cryptic waste, knowing that I at least had Frey's alliance now. But I could feel that the curse was getting worse. I felt a strange kind of coldness inside me, in a deeper way that I ever had before. I'm going to need to fight back against the evil within, just like you can fight back against boredom by watching more Zozo videos. Just search ZOZO for more Minecraft adventures. This part of the cryptic waste seemed even more desolate than the rest. There were huge chasms in the floor, leading down to somewhere deep and dark. Then, all of a sudden, I couldn't move. I felt the coldness within me touch my feathers from the outside. It could only be the Wraith, here to finish what he started. He rose out of one of the chasms and began floating towards me while I was powerless to move.
Your curse is progressing nicely, boy. Less than 30 days now until completion. Here I am. Here you are. Nothing changes unless I will it to.
You're wrong. Me and my friends are going to defeat you.
Friends, how quaint. No one can befriend a shadow, Zozo, and soon that's all you'll be. Why even wait? All it'll take is a single curse touch.
He was getting closer and closer and closer. I couldn't move, knowing his touch would destroy me instantly without the special armor. I still couldn't move, but I summoned just enough power to start firing my Wither Skulls at the Wraith.
Pathetic. You think you can fight me with the powers I gave you?
He was right. I needed to be smarter. And when he was only blocks away from me, I had an idea. I blasted Wither Skulls on the ground between us and the blocks beneath him, letting me fall into the darkness away from him. From day 75 to day 78, I was lying on the floor of the cavern, several levels of blocks below the surface. My body still couldn't move. It was as if I didn't have any strength left in my body. Or maybe it was still there, but my will couldn't access it. Is this what it feels like to be forsaken? Wait, why did I say that? No, I won't give in. I won't become like them. This curse isn't stronger than... Who was I kidding? I was all alone now, out of potions and lost somewhere under the cryptic waste. The one thing I could be happy about was that I was far away from all of my friends right now. They wouldn't have to see me as a forsaken. Surge will probably miss me. That's what the flower garden is for. I closed my eyes and waited for the curse to take me. Then, I heard the voice of someone I never could have expected.
Zozo, I'm here. Drink this potion.
It was Heward, the wandering trader, and he had a kind of potion I had never seen before. I drank it, and my body was able to move again. I stood, just relieved that it was through my own power. Heward, what are you doing in the cryptic wastes?
I couldn't lose my best customer, Zozo. Besides, that potion wasn't good for much else, besides restraining the curse for maybe 10 or 15 more days.
I could feel that he was right. The curse was still within me, but its influence was suppressed. I was healthier than ever, with a total of 100 hearts. There was one other other feeling I felt on top of that, though. A chilling cold that responded to me and could be focused into a weapon. One more blessing from the curse. An ice blast! From day 79 to day 84, I climbed out of the chasm at my greatest power yet, but also at my greatest level of curse affliction. I have less than 20 days to repeal the curse now, or I won't be an eagle, I'll be a monster!
Why don't you just embrace it?
I turned and saw a heavily armored man with a shield and a phantasmal blade standing across the waist and watching me.
The curse doesn't have to be a burden. It can be a doorway to power beyond all comprehension.
Who are you?
Oh, where are my manners? I'm Sergeant Brannock. Ever heard of me?
I've heard you're a traitor who hurt my friend. That's enough for me to take you down. I decided to give my power a try and hit Sergeant Brannock with an ice blast, but he lifted up his shield and blocked it.
Yeah, I remember when I got that one. You're making me all nostalgic.
I drew my claymore, ready to charge in and fight him, eagle to man, but he was too fast. He threw his phantasmal blade at me, devastating my heart count. But before I could recover to unleash another strike, he hit me with his own, much more powerful ice blast, freezing me in place. No, this isn't fair.
Life isn't fair. It's why you gotta cheat, lie, and steal if you want to get anywhere, kid.
You're gonna pay for what you did to the king.
Oh, I wouldn't worry about the king, Zozo. I'd be more worried about your friends.
What did you do to my friends?
I decided to stop by your base before I came here. Hope you don't mind, but me and the Forsaken remodeled the kitchen a little, and we remodeled the guy in there.
Nomad? No!
Gotta hand it to him. He made a mean calamari. Shame no one will ever taste it the way he made it ever again.
You're lying.
Am I? Go back to your base and check. Oh, when you can move again anyway. See you soon, Zozo.
The sergeant ran off after that, leaving me frozen and enraged. And not just for a whole hour. I was frozen there for 2 solid days, when suddenly I felt a strangely warm presence. Out of the ground rose a spirit, covered in gold. When he was there, I felt my frozen state let up. I somehow just knew he was here to help me.
Zozo, I am here from the beyond. You have struggled enough, my friend.
Who are you?
You do not know me, but your friend does. I am the king that Sergeant Brannock betrayed and slew.
Gosh, you're the king that Surge was defending.
The very same. And now, my spirit is here to give you a boon, one you earned through resilience and sacrifice. I would have given you this earlier, but I needed to know you had the strength and the temperament to wield it justly. This is Hawkbrand, the only sword that can harm the Wraith.
He passed me Hawkbrand, one of the coolest swords I'd ever seen. Hawkbrand, eagle, and hawk. It all makes sense now. This is the prophecy.
Yes, Zozo, but don't be reckless. The Hawkbrand can only be dangerous to the Wraith once it has been properly enchanted. And I'm afraid the location of the enchantment book is a mystery even to me.
I'll find it, Your Highness, even if I have to go to the ends of the end.
Good work, Zozo. I ask you only to perform one more task. Tell Surge to not blame himself to what happened to me. He did all he could and shouldn't spend the rest of his life in the shadow of the past.
King dropped into the abyss, and it was time for me to get serious. From day 85 to day 89, I found my way back to the base, flying as fast as my wings would allow. From above, I could see that the base was damaged, the pool on the roof was draining, and the base was in ruins. The Forsaken were still causing destruction down below, guided by their own boundless despair.
How many days do you have left, Zozo? 100 doesn't last forever. We will welcome you soon enough.
You won't bring me into your misery, but I will put you out of yours. A hurricane of enchanted fire arrows rained down upon the Forsaken, leaving none to tell the tale. I landed by the kitchen and entered, fearful of what I might find. Within were more Forsaken, whom I startled with a screech and dispatched with the unenchanted Hawkbrand. As I assessed the damages of the demolished kitchen, I saw the nomad's daggers lying on the counter. His weapons were all that were left of him. Rest now, friend. I'll bury these daggers under the flower garden for you. But it wasn't enough to mourn. I needed to return to the cryptic waste and end this once and for all. From day 90 to day 94, I stalked the Forsaken all the way back to the cryptic waste. With my ice beam, I froze them in place, then destroyed them all with the Hawkbrand and my beloved Claymore.
Very impressive, Zozo. Seems like the curse is really almost complete. Soon, we'll be 2 peas in a pod.
Sergeant Brannock, I'm gonna make you pay for what you did to Nomad.
Oh, is that what his name was?
He just wanted to cook.
Believe me, he cooked.
That was the last straw. I unleashed everything on him. The ice beams, the wither skulls, the flaming arrows. But somehow, no matter what I gave him, he gave it back even harder.
Everything you've been through, I've been through it first, kid. You really think you've got any surprises for me?
With one throw of his phantasmal blade, I was on the ground. From day 95 to day 97, I tried to stand back up after Sergeant Brannock had knocked me down, but my body refused to move. No, not like this. I still have a few days left.
I think you misunderstood the 100-day curse. It doesn't matter if you give in at 10 days, 20 days, or even 90 days. Heck, you can even tough it out for the full 100 days if you really put your mind to it. But do you know why it doesn't matter a lick? Because once your days are numbered, that's it. That's all you got. Do you think it will matter if you give in today, or tomorrow, or the next day? It won't. Did you once ever ask any of the Forsaken which day the curse got them? Do you think they even remember?
I'll remember. I will live on to remember my 100th morning. Whatever comes after that, I'll face it too. You're the one who turned away because it got too tough.
Empty words from one who chooses to be forsaken. You could have been like me.
Who would want that? Brannock raised his phantasmal sword, too angry to respond to my words. I didn't need to say anymore because Surge would say it for me. He was standing right behind his former leader.
Hello, Brannock.
Brannock turned away from me, and in that moment, it was like it was only himself and Surge in the entire world.
Your face is different, Surge. Has the stress of failure haunted you for this long? It is true that I am haunted by failure, but not of my own. What do you mean by that, recruit? You failed us. You failed your king. You failed yourself. And today, when I prevail and save Zozo, it will be your last failure. Then come on, Surge, prove those words. Are you afraid? I am afraid, and that's why I'll win.
Surge conjured a fireball and hurled it straight at Brannock, who neutralized it with an ice blast. Forsaken Sergeant deployed its phantasmal blade, and Surge dodged, drawing a sword of his own. They clashed and circled each other before Brannock pulled back to let loose a barrage of fireballs. Surge was hit, and Brannock was sure to take advantage of this by drawing forth the cold into an ice blast more powerful than any I could imagine.
So long, Surge. No flowers for you, Brannock.
Surge cast a fireball to match Brannock's ice blast, but it was more than a fireball, it was a dragon fireball. It melted straight through the frost and burned Brannock's forsaken shell to ash.
I did it, my king. You are avenged.
I ran to congratulate Surge on the victory. You did amazing, Surge. The king would have been so proud of you. Upon Brannock's destruction, a book was dropped featuring enchantments of a prophetic sort. It was the very magic that was required to enchant Hawkbrand. Looks like Brannock was even planning to betray the Wraith if it suited him. He really didn't know the meaning of loyalty. And in a way, that's finally good for something. On day 98, after enchanting the Hawkbrand, I kept going in the direction that I knew I'd find the Wraith's lair. I can feel the cursed energy in me burning as I get closer. I know I'm gonna have him soon. But on the journey, I encountered one more old friend, the wandering trader, Heward.
Zozo, I see you have gained the enchanted blade, but there's something you're forgetting.
What's that?
The special armor. Without that, the Wraith could still kill you in a single touch. This is the Cave Scorpion chestplate. I'd rather not go into what I had to do to get it, but if you put it on, you should be ready to do what needs to be done.
He gave me the special chestplate, and I equipped it with pride. Thank you for all you've done for me, Heward.
What can I say? You're my best customer.
On day 99, finally equipped with the enchanted Hawkbrand and the Cave Scorpion chestplate, I was ready to take on the Wraith and destroy the curse. But even though I could see the Wraith's lair in the distance, there was something terrifying in the way. A whole flock of crimson phantoms. How am I gonna get through all of those? One of them was enough of a problem for me.
But not for me.
I turned and saw Frey, the assassin of the Cleansing Light Assassins Guild, stealthily approaching. Frey, what are you doing here?
I made a promise, Zozo, and an assassin never leaves a debt unpaid. Slay the Wraith, break your curse, and leave these weaklings to me.
He seemed to know what he was doing. With one final glance between us, I snuck past while Frey ran into battle. On day 100, I was at last in the lair of the Wraith, the origin point of all the curses in the overworld.
You should not have come here, Zozo. This is your 100th day.
I barely saw the Wraith in the darkness of his lair.
I'll let you in on a little secret. I called it the 100-day curse, but nobody but you has ever lasted this long.
Of course not, because it wasn't time for the prophecy to be fulfilled yet, Wraith. The day you cursed me was the start of your last 100 days. I drank the potion of night vision, and the inside of the lair was clear as day to me. I could see the Wraith bearing down on me, but I had no fear left in my body. Only strength, only will.
I am everywhere.
The Wraith touched me, but to his shock, I did not die. With a single practiced swing of Hawkbrand, I struck him down. And now, you're nowhere.